Now, members, welcome to this a new tutorial. And this tutorial is a follow-up to a previous tutorial, which was mainly for location and site modeling. So based on our work plan, we want to handle the next thing, which is site documentation. I've previously mentioned that site documentation is a derivative of both drafting and modeling. As I said, drafting especially for us who are starting, it's a very important process. It helps you have a thorough understanding of what you intend to model. So that once you have been able to model, you'll do a documentation of your modeling, okay? Along the way, once you have become a pro in some of these things, you might find that there's no much need of drafting, okay? But for now, since we are learning from scratch, we have to do it. So we want to do site documentation, and we specifically do a 3D documentation of the location map and the site plan. The tools that I'm going to use are the stories, elements, connect, and 3D views. We're going to introduce a new tool called the 3D document, and then the view maps, the layouts of publishers, those ones we've already used. In terms of deliverables, we're going to get the location map as a 3D document. We're going to get a site plan as a 3D document. And just like the others, we are going to organize them on an A3 sheet. It will result into us having two deliverables, mainly a consolidated PDF and a BMX file. And then we'll go that extra step of printing the PDF so that we can start relating what we are doing in terms of design, in terms of modeling, and what we are getting. So welcome to this presentation. Now, I take you through that again quickly. Our site documentation, the activities is documenting a 3D document of the location of the site plan. The tools, the ones we've been using previously, the new tool that we're adding is the 3D document. In terms of deliverables, we need a location map 3D document, we need a site plan 3D document, and then we'll have hard copy deliverables, which are basically the printout of the PDFs. Now, this one has a relationship with the site modeling. Remember that the deliverables that we had on site modeling was a location map as a view set of the location map as a 3D view. And remember that we did two situations or two scenarios. We did one as an isometric. We did another one as a perspective. You can also do another one as an orthographic, again, depending on what we are looking for. And I will want us to do all those and see what we are getting. So let's start with what we already know. But even before we proceed on so much, there's someone who had asked how you can organize your view map to be more accessible and more presentable. My answer will be that in my case, I will align it to the work plan, okay? So in our case, we have a work plan called task A. Let me just copy it. Don't waste so much time. With that work plan, I can decide to create a folder, give it that name. And then within that folder, I will have the various subfolders, like we have site drafting. I believe we have whatever for site drafting. Here it is. So let's call it okay. And we can deliberately place it as a subfolder in that main subfolder of task A. Then we had the other one. Let's go to the other one. The other one is site modeling. So this one was for site modeling. We lose nothing by just even using our activity number. So site modeling is number item 2. So we have no site modeling is item 3. So we have 2 and 3. So allow me to label this as 2. And then we have this as 3. I'll repeat, I'm doing this basics for an amateur to understand the correlation between workflows and the deliverables that we have. But you'll find that as you improve along the way, there are some things that can be ignored, like drafting. If you improve along the way, you'll find that there are predefined workflows. In most of our offices, we have predefined workflows. So you don't need to come and start doing all those things from scratch again. So I'll place it there. There's number 3. Okay. This one, I will call it an orphan because I think it was part of, but I can just still place it inside that in case I want to review. So you can see my view map now is well organized, and it's organized on the basis of the workflow from our work plan. So let's look at our workflow. Right now, what we are handling is site documentation. If I go back here and create a new subfolder inside there and call it site documentation. Okay. So within the site documentation, we need 3D documents. And they've said we are going to project a number. Remember that we had the basic ones, the location map as an isometric. So let's open it. There it is. Now we want to convert this into a 3D document. Just right click and say new 3D document. Call it location map isometric. Okay. So I can even, maybe I can change this into isometric. Let's say okay. We have created a 3D document. Okay. Now this 3D document is something that you can easily annotate. Okay. But before we go to a level of annotating it, I would want to see, because I want to organize in an A3 sheet of paper, what scale will be good for it. So I will provisionally save it. Location map isometric. And then I'm going to go to the layout. Again, it will be important if you organize your layout in the same manner as the view map. Even at this level, I can create a subset and give it that name. Okay. In it, I will have a subset called site location drafting. So in it, and lastly, for documentation. Now I can quickly organize what I have. These ones are mainly for drafting. So I can deliberately just move that into that drafting. This is an empty one, we might no longer need that subset. This layout, I think, is the default one, we might no longer need it. Okay. So what's happening is that let's see, we have a lot of things, some we don't need. But let's go to site documentation. I need an A3 sheet, so I can easily even clone that and place it inside there and go and call it location map. Location map isometric. So if I place my drawing, I specifically pick that and place it. So at this early stage, I will control the extent of what I'm seeing. So I'll want to maybe push it to that point. So let me just place it, let me fit it and see what scale works for me. So this will always be a procedure. Always remember to make it auto and then fit. As you can see, that's an architectural, not an architectural scale, but the next best architectural scale is 1 to 5,000. So all what I need to do is go back there. And the first thing that I do is to change the scale to 1 to 5,000. By now, you should know how to match your pen weights. You had created pen weights, so you'll have a pen weight of 1 to 5,000, so you need to match it, okay? So with that, I can now proceed on with my work. Again, I will want a strong correlation between what I drafted in terms of the labels, let's look at it again. And that's what we drafted. So in terms of the labels, in terms of the text, so I'm just copying them, and I will want to place them here again. I forgot to change this, so you always change and then update. Okay, if you don't do that, you'll always find yourself doing it all over again. So allow me to paste that information within my workspace. And with that, I can use the same labels and the same text to label my work. So we had Makui Police Station. The police station is somewhere here. We have our site. And remember, we had that block, so now we can clearly see the block. Okay, just call it a block. We have the church. The church or somewhere here. Someone is asking, how do you ensure that we are labeling the things properly? The answer is simple. Remember that in modeling, you are modeling the blocks. Okay, so at the end of the day, those blocks will be seen. And with those blocks being seen, you can easily label them. So that's the essence of putting handling the blocks. Okay. Then we have the school A or somewhere here. Okay. So with that, as you can see, I have properly labeled. As I said, our model preceded the drafting, which was wrong. So as a result, something like the road, we had whatever for the road. There it is, but we cannot use it. Embu Nairobi Road is somewhere here, but unfortunately I cannot use it because my model does not show that road, but it's somewhere there. Okay, so as you can see, basic things. The only thing that maybe I might need also to place at this level is the compass. So for the compass, we already have it. It's in our model. Is it? No, it's not in our model, but we lose nothing in placing it. So let's get it. Let me place it. Can revert to the original colors. And at this level, I can use my section tool just to be sure that we have it. As you can see, we have to look for it. So one of the easiest ways of looking for it is by selecting all the objects. Still cannot get it. The other thing will be to measure that that height. It's around 1800. It's 1800. So let me put its height at around 20,000. Are we getting it? No. We are troubleshooting. So the other thing could be that the settings does not allow for now for it to be seen in 3D. So we need to adjust that setting. Here it is. So I need to say that it's detailed. Then let's open the section again. This time, are we seeing it? Yes, we are seeing it. The only thing that as a rule, it needs to be above the ground for it to be seen. I hope that it's not fully submerged. Let's have a look at it. Isometric. There it is. Because of the scale, let's look at it at 1.5. Again, there it is. This level, you might even want to increase the size if you want it to be significantly seen. So let me even put a 10,000. And now that one you can't see it, okay? And with that, we have documented, okay? So with this, I will come and update that document. I'll do the same thing from my perspective. So I'll come to the perspective. There it is. I'll convert it to a 3D document, location map, perspective. I will provisionally save it. After saving it, I'm going to try and place it. I'll also try and fit it. So I will always ensure that it's on auto and it's internally stored and does not for now allow me to remove the title. That will help me move and see, we can still see our compass. So let us fit this one to our sheet. Around 1 to 1400. So that tells us that 1 to 2000 will suffice. So I'll go and adjust that one. 1 to 2000. Okay. Now that we're at 1 to 2000, I'll want now to just do the same labels that I did. So come and pick up these labels. You see, if you do proper things in the first instance, then it becomes very easy for you to do these things, okay? Because there's be a question of picking up the same information. So I want to place them. One thing you'll notice, I forgot to change this. That's why the labels are quite distorted. So I need to change that and to redefine, okay? So that now with that, I can easily even just move the labels to match those. Though I might have to adjust a little bit. For the station, there. For the church, somewhere here. For my site. And for the school, but also somewhere here. So with a complete indication of those blocks using the map to then there will be a lot of life in your location map, okay? So this one I will also redefine. So you can see it's a very straightforward exercise, okay? Let's do for the site. Let's start with an isometric. So these are isometric for the site. So we want to save as a 3D document. Now, unlike the location map, you might want to maximize, okay? So for me, I want all my site to be seen. So I'll come and click there. And that's what I'm able to define the extent of what I want to be seen. For me, that is good enough. So I need to save it as a 3D document. One thing you'll notice that if I select a right click, I might not get it because the mesh has flooded the space. So what you just need to do is to go to the project map and go to the 3D document, right click and save it. So this one, we call it site plan isometric. So that has been created. Okay, as you can see, it is specifically focused to our site. So I'll come here and save it first. I'll go to my layout and see this level. I can even create site plan isometrics. So let us place. Now you'll notice that despite me changing the settings, always I get the settings as original, simply because I've not using the siderange, I've not picked up those settings. So now that I've picked them up, let me try and see if when I place, I will have an, so because I don't need to be repeating those redundant things, and then as you can see, it's okay. It does not have to block for now. And it's auto, okay? So I just need to confirm what scale works for me. 1 to 598. If I say okay, my interest will be a 1 to 500, okay? So let me just adjust it 1 to 500 and see if it will properly fit. Remember, if it's centered, it will be, yeah, and now that one clearly, a 1 to 500 site plan will easily fit, okay? So based on that, I will go back and first things first, change this one to that scale. Remember to change your pens to that scale because you have those pen sets, okay? And then remember also to update your view set, okay? So with this, I can do the same thing. Let's look at what we documented on our site plan. Now I'll pick up the same labels, okay? Now, something of interest, should you want to show those lines, maybe you might consider modeling them, okay? You might consider modeling them using a morph, using a wall. All depends on what you want, okay? But let me quickly pick up those ones. I will also maybe, so let me just pick up those ones and try and update my site plan. Now, there it is, okay? So if I want to show those spilling lines, you have two ways you can draw them manually. I can even pick up the settings from my site plan. So allow me just to put one, let me confirm one. As you can see at this level, these items are actually sensitive. So on top and on top. It's not fitting. Basically, I think it's an issue to the topography. That's true. So you'll be better placed using a morph, but nevertheless, you can easily label. So once you're able to draw it, you'll just label. So for me, allow me to just do this front one then. So time. basically that line, what I'm being told is that I need to align it through a curve. And then it needs to move backwards by 6 meters. There. So with that, we already have that beginning line, and you need to do the same for the others. Okay. At this level, you might want to label your contours. If you have your contour heights, you might want to label, especially the ones that are cutting through your site. So let's assume that this one is plus 100 or 1000. Remember, my contour interval is 1 meter. So in terms of font size, a font size of around 2.5 will suffice. Not too huge, not too small. This one can be plus 2000. Plus 3000. Again, this is information you already have. We are not picking up any information. Okay. I can label my various items like the plinth. And label my driveway and parking. Now this level, you can also put horizontal dimensions. If I want to dimension, let's say, my mesh, let's just try. I want to dimension my mesh. There are two ways of dimensioning, maybe on plan to show the distance. Okay. I can also show the height in terms of, I can also put the dimension in terms of height difference. Let me put the height difference between those 2 points. This one, I need to use the height option. There it is. So the height is around 2.1. I can adjust the setting of this to clearly show that 2.1 means. So it means that I can use the dynamic height option. And if I place it, it should be able to give us I will remove that gap. So as you can see, it clearly shows that the height difference between that part and this part is 2.169 meters. Okay. So, and so on and so forth. There's so much you can do at that level. But most importantly, once you have done them, you just need to come and update. Okay. At this level, you can also do a cross section. So I want us to quickly do a cross section based on even just that isometric. So if you go back to isometric, we can use the cutout option, Control Y. And with the cutout, we can determine what we want to cut. Do you want to cut the Z? Do you want to cut the plan? Whereas we want to cut the plan. Okay. So if you want to cut the plan, let's change to a section. In that section, given a plan. Let's go to the plan. From the plan, let's cut off. We want to see inside our site, so we place it there, finalize, and then we go back to our isometric. No, sorry, I was supposed to have, let's do it again, sorry. So from isometric, let's activate the cutout, okay? And then go back to floor plan, cut it out. And then I say, okay, they go take it back to the isometric. Say, okay. As you can see, you are given a drawing that clearly shows the section, okay? So all what I need to do is to save that 3D document. So again, I'll go back here and save 3D document. This time I'll call it site plan, sectional isometric. I'll create. I'll want to retain the same scales for comparative reasons, 1 to 2000, so that I'm able to compare my sectional isometric with what we had created, but allow me to quickly save it here. Site plan, sectional isometric. This was 1 to 2000. No, sorry, it was 1 to 500. So I will want to match the same. Then update. And all what I need to do is just put my label, so I can even easily copy what I have here and copy all the lines. The only things that I cannot copy are dimensions, even the curves. Let's place them here and see which ones are important to us. As you can see, the important ones will retain, the ones that are not so important, like these ones. Move them. Okay. Now that I forgot, I should have even pushed it further so that we cut through the plinth, so that we can even measure the two dimensions of the plinth. So all is not lost. So I can go back, open 3D source, continue my cutting. The project, that one is cutting on plan, so on section. So I need to go to plan. And on my plan, I just need to move this one further. Let us cut through the plinth, finalize, then go back to isometric. So there it is. Again, I can save it. Site plan, sectional isometric 2. So as you can see, you can do so much, okay? And most importantly, I don't need to delete or overwrite. If you, let's say like the other one was not right, all what I need to do is just do another one. So let me place what I had copied, okay? My point of interest at this point will be to show the distance between my plinth and the ground. So just need to put my dimensions. That one definitely gives me the depth at this level, and then I can further place it there. Now this one is normally a bit of an issue because you have to get a hotspot that can help you. So let's first of all play that hotspot there, and then try dimension again. Not close to that hotspot. You can see it normally it's a problem. Times just picking it give us issues. That's problems for now, but let's just even manually measure and see whether it's making sense. But give us so much value at this level. Okay. But ideally, at this stage, we can easily show that. Okay. So we have created that. I want us to create a sectional elevation. So now you've done a sectional perspective. I want to do an orthographic, okay? And orthographic, we have two ways of doing it. We can decide to use the section line. So let's pick up our section line, even place it along. Now that you have known that that's why you are cutting through, so just place it there. And then let's even do away with the Control Y, that's away the cutaway. So I'll want that section to be as photorealistic as possible. What does that mean? It means that I can use the predefined settings, okay? Though you can create your own by just editing the various settings, okay? How do you want your cut fill to look like? I'll want to make it to look like the material, okay? If at this level you're not sure about your pen weights, you can give them a uniform one. For the uncut, I will also want to do that. And give a uniform whatever for the uncut. You want the cover fill? Yes. Where you need transparency, how do you want the sun to behave? You can create you can use the 3D window settings. You can create your own custom. You want to see shadows. Okay, so you can adjust those settings. So if let's say okay, and then I want to see maybe up to the extent of let's even do up to the extent beyond, slightly beyond our site, and then let's open. As you can see, along that section, it gives you a view of how your section should look like. Let's go back to the section settings and see, we have tweaked some things in a better way. Let's use this predetermined favorites. Okay, yeah, that one brings a bit of color. And remember that our site is relatively flat, so at the end of the day, nothing much we'll see. at this level, I will want to, because what's even driving me to that is to show this dimension. So how much is that? That's what I've been looking for. It's around 200. So it's 200 on that side. How much do we have on this other side? Okay, so it's generally flat. Okay, so with this, I can also save this. My only concern will be the scale and the size of our dimensions. Our dimensions 2.5 will do. And at this level, I won't mind converting them to millimeters. Okay, so allow me to provisionally save that one as a section. Site plan section. And then go back to our layout and try fit it in and see what we are getting. Now, are we getting the whole extent of our site? Let's check. And see, I think those are the two significant so as you can see for us that will surface. Let me fit into my sheet for now. There's a friend who asked, can't we just, must we always fill in an A3 sheet with one drawing? I would say no, okay? But at this level, I want you to understand how to organize your work on a sheet. Subsequently, you'll find yourself combining a number of drawings. In fact, allow me to use this section to do that, okay? I've seen that that section may be scale 1 to 200. Let's see what we'll get at 1 to 200. A number of things will not be there, so we'll just have to use 1 to 500. So let's go back to our section, change it to 1 to 500, okay? The dimensions are definitely big, they feel out of scale. Okay, so in fact, what I can do, I can hide those dimensions. They feel out of scale, so at that point, they don't make a lot of sense. But at the same point, I can decide to zoom into the slab itself. That slab. Okay. Most probably, just for me, just to show the slab itself, let's say we need what scale. So I just want to show the slab itself. Now this one is like I'm just doing a detail within our site plan. Even a scale 1 to 50 will surface. Okay, so what I need to do is the same drawing. I'm not going to delete anything. I'm just going to change scale 1 to 50 and then bring back my dimensions. Remember that I had hidden my dimensions, I did not delete them. So I'll bring them back. There they are. And now for me, this will make more sense. Okay, I can easily see that's my suspended plane and it shows me the site is relatively flat. So I can call it a plinth detail or plinth dimension. So I will want to, you notice something at this level. I've used the same section to have two derivatives. From it, I have a section at scale 1 to 500, and then I've zoomed in into the plinth. The same section. So what I've done, I've just manipulated my layers, I've manipulated my scale, but I've not deleted anything. Now that's the beauty about modeling. Once you model properly, you can have a lot of these tricks, okay? So for me, allow me to stop there in terms of creation of the various view sets. But you need to learn how to do these things. I've deliberately not done the site plan and perspective. I want you to do it and see what you get. So let me start organizing them. Maybe that I started creating some of the layers, so I just need to delete what is there, because definitely they are not to scale. Then place a location map, isometric. So I'll come here, look for my location map, isometric. Place at this level. Maybe once I've placed it, I'll lose nothing in bringing back the title. So let me place it first. You'll notice that I always, once I've defined my edges, I always come and fit it to layout. Okay. Then once I've fitted it to layout, I can come and now change it back to my size. What usually happens that it helps me clear a lot of hassles in terms of coming and placing that drawing. Okay. Now, at this level, you'll notice that at 1 to 5,000, it might not necessarily fit the whole. So I might want to attempt to put more than one drawing on this sheet. Okay. So let's try and place perspective in the same thing. Let me, now that I know that, and I know that, some, let me try fit it to sheet. Okay. But again, we need it at 1 to 2,000. That you must always use architectural scales. That one you cannot wish away. Okay. So as you can see, it gives me a chance of even placing both of them. Okay. I can creatively try to overlap them. I can even deliberately avoid overlapping them by hiding information that parts that might not be so necessary, like that, and then pulling it downwards. Okay, so for me, at least I would say I'm almost successful in placing two drawings in the same sheet. Okay, I'm tempted to even cut another portion there. That should help me pull it down further and even move it there. So as you can see, on that one drawing, will be one sheet I've been able to put two drawings. At this level, allow me to put the title. Then it's always good to tweak the settings. And for me, the most important thing is surely that distance. Don't need any distance there. Okay. So that tells me I can even further push this one there. I'm only present now the title. You can see we have a little bit of clash. So again, just like what I did there, I can hide a bit of what we don't need, like that. But I'm able to put that, and then I can easily put that one once. So I think that one answers the question that I was asked, whether we need to always put drawings, each drawing in its own paper. Okay, the answer is no. For this level, in my A3 sheet, I've been able to fix my perspective. I've been able to fix my isometric. Let's see, is there anything that I can fix here? We have our site plan, isometrics. This one might be a bit big. So at this level, I will want to leave that sheet that way. But in terms of creativity, at least I can create a bit of balance by pushing that one there. So for me, that sheet is as good as full. So I'll just talk about location maps, not just isometric, because now the specific explanation will be on each. Okay. Then let's go now to site plan. Site plan, the same thing. I'm going to place my isometrics. I need just up to there. I need up to there. I need up to there. I need up to there. Let's see, in terms of size, what should fit. Okay. So if I revert it to 1/500, my exact scale 100% on 500. For me, that's a good fit. So I don't need to squeeze them into separate sheets. Okay. So let's do the isometrics, sectional isometric. I can even just replace it now because I know they are related. Instead of doing all over again, I just need to link with that and it will be brought there. So as you can see, it has been cut off. Again, I don't need all this information, so I can chop off that information. And when I do that, it gives me a chance of placing a section up there. So let me place my section. I hope it will fit. I need to open the extent. But basically just showing that because when I was redefining, I just redefined it with that extent. So those are things that you need to, at your own pace, learn. So as you can see, even my car has not been fully shown. So take it up. Okay. I have that beacon. I'm interested in the beacons. There they are. So I can easily place my section here. Okay. And I can even place my plinth on the same sheet. And the plinth now will clearly show even the size or the distance between. Okay. And now the beauty is that I can connect the two in terms of a drawing by just using an ellipse and handling it as a detail. So if I just pick up that. And even just using a spline. However, as I always say, as an architect, graphical communication is key. So you might want to go beyond just those basic line works. But that one quickly gives an indication of, or gives a relation between the 2. So I don't need to explain, but someone can clearly see that that is a blow up of that area. Okay. So with that, I've finished placing my deliverables on the layout. Okay. Now I need to publish. Publishing the same process that we did last time. So we need to open the organizer. The 3 documents are usually treated as publishable items. So all what I need to do on my BIMX, I need now to come and place that side documentation as it is. Okay, so I can pick the whole subset for side documentation and place it there. Okay, and the same thing that I'll do with my PDFs, I'll pick that one and place it there. Okay, so with that I am done. So all what I need to do now is to publish. I want to publish both of them, but remember again, you must always adjust your settings. I have a friend who told me that you could not get the location. You must be able to remember yourself the location where you have saved it. And then for me, I will call it, remember that at this level, by the way, we have finished that. So I can call it even task A, site drafting, modeling, and documentation. So at this level, I can comfortably call my commas are not allowed. Okay. So if I say okay, let's look at the PDF also. Let's look at the properties. We'll also want to give it the same name so that I don't overwrite what we have there. So with that, I will select those 2. I will make sure that I have selected those sets and then I will just publish. You'll realize this time it will take a little bit long. And once it finishes publishing, I will want us to look at the PDF that you have gotten, and I will want us to look at the BMX. Now, as I've said, due to the nature of the tutorial, the time is limited, so I might not have done everything, okay? So what I will advise you is that strive and ensure that whatever you give is far much better than what I'm showing. Things like dimensions, things like level dimensions, things like objects. There's so much you can add into those 3D documents to make your work more presentable. As I've said, yeah, you'll notice we are now accumulating a lot of data from our original file. Remember our first publish, it was done so quickly and it was not so easy, simply because we were just publishing 2D drafted work, okay? But at this level, we have a layer of 3D models, and then we have another layer of 3D documents. That one definitely makes it heavier. I'm saying this because we must always give publishing time. There's nothing as frustrating as waiting for something to be published and we have a deadline. So we must always start early. Okay? Once I started publishing, you have no control. the much you can do is just to stop it if you feel it's wasting your time, which at the end of the day will not have achieved what you're looking for. But if you give it enough time, to publish, more so especially if you have a computer whose specifications are not strong, you need to give it time, okay? So you might find even at times it takes even around 10 or 20 minutes just publishing. The beauty is that you'll always see the progress. Like right now, 17 of my 26 published items to be published are already done, okay? As I've said, you cannot force it to do it faster, so you must always give it time. But as it's doing that, I think this one marks the end of our first part in terms of our work plan. We were handling the site drafting, modeling, and documentation. So we've been able to draft the site, we've been able to model the site, and document. And when I talk about site, I'm talking about both the location and the actual site, okay? Our next tutorial will handle the second part, which is basically now we'll go now to the main building, okay? And one thing you'll notice that we'll significantly increase our scales. We'll move from 1 to 5,000 to scale of 1 to 50. Now, since I say that we are doing this from first principle, whatever you want to use as you are building, I will advise you that you start drafting it early, okay? Drafting is the simplest method or the simplest aspect of BIM, where you just use 2D items to express yourself. Those 2D items might be lines, might be circles or arcs, might be splines. You dimension them, do all those things. But the key thing is that you should be able to do all those things in 2D. And for me, at this level, you should be able to correlate your manual drafting of your work and or call it the virtual drafting, okay? So our publishing is done. I believe everything's properly published. I need to check, I'll just check, okay? So if I close, allow me to look for where it is. Yeah, they are. As you can see, the size has significantly increased. Let us look at the PDF. It has now everything that we need. It has the location draft, the site plan. These were the quick 3Ds that we did. Most importantly, now we have the 3D document that clearly show where our site is located. This is a misplaced drawing. Remember that we merged. Remember when we merged this one, we did not need that sheet, so that's a misplaced one, which you have to remove. Then there's a site plan in perspective, no, in isometric. We did not do in perspective again. This one is misplaced, it needs to be removed. And then we have the sectional isometric. We have the plan section, and then we have that. Okay, so as you can see, our PDF manifests or just shows the extent of what we are handling. Let's look at the BMX. Again, at this level, you need to learn how to use the BMX. It has all the things that you previously had, even the 3Ds. 3Ds that we can easily walk through them. Place ourselves in the right place, so you just need to move. We did this one last time, so I will not spend so much time there. So really, if I want to go to my site, we can go to it. These are things we did last time, so allow me not to spend so much time there. For me, the most important part will be the 3D document that you have just created. There it is. Okay. That one is misplaced file, so that one ideally you have gone and deleted it. And we have this, okay? Now for me, you should be able to present your work this way to the client as your deliverable to enable a client even take his or her time and go through your work. So with that, allow me to stop there on the task A of our work plan. Thank you.